Morning traders, and this is your Aussie day trade setup for today. Now, before we start the review of the charts, let's just have a quick look at the small account. Last week was pretty much a hectic week for me. Kind of difficult trying to hold down a job and trade. I can imagine it's not the easiest thing to do. So often when you see people showing you these amazing returns, yes, it's possible, but you need to be sitting down and watching the charts all the time, which is what I wasn't doing last week. I was running around doing a lot of other things as well. So basically ended up with a positive return, which is good, but less than 1%, so not really that good. But anyway, this week is a little bit of the same, actually. Got quite a few things happening, which means I'm going to be running around a bit as well. So it's going to be interesting to see whether I can do something. Anyway, it is a positive return, and that's what you want. So, starting off with the daily, we had a good NFP, non-farm payrolls in the US, which got the markets rallying. So we caught a bit of it on the Aussie, but I think there's a lot more to catch that we didn't catch last on Friday. So I think there's still a little bit of upside. One thing is that's the actual close. So there's a bit of incorrect data in the chart. So actual close was 49,220. Okay, not really a level anywhere here. I just want to see if there's a weekly level. Not really. But you can see we kind of came off the weekly 200 EMA, just short of it, rallied, and then closed with a pin bar. That's an indication that there were buyers coming in. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more of some more upside. And what I would probably be curious on would be a revisit to 49,975 or possibly even 50,000. Okay, so if we start looking at the lower time frames, so the 3 hour, we've had a little bit of a move to the upside. There's some buyers coming in off this level. Sellers coming in off this level, as you can see by the tails. So I think that's still a level that we need to pay attention to, which is pretty much where the close was. You can see we had four 3-hour bars, which are bouncing off this 49,220. And I can't really fathom why. Let's just get down to lower time frames. Is a potential double top at the moment, engulfing bar, but then there's an inside bar that we close off with. So we had a good rally pullback and then a little bit of consolidation. So if you really look at this on like the 12-minute chart or even the 5-minute chart, you should see a pretty big consolidation triangle here. Now, I break to the downside, and what I'm looking for now is fractals. So we have a fractal break to the downside. I'm going to adjust this line to that fractal there. Okay, so looking at the half hour, we broke through the alligator, came back, test the alligator, and the trend is currently up, but these are the two areas that we need to pay attention to. Now, the trouble is that it's not that bad, 275, so that's 275 point range that we sort of closed the day off in. I just want to have a quick look at where 10 cent is. 10 cent is flat. Oil is down 0.5%. Rand dollar 14.61. Nothing really to write home about there. And futures markets fairly flat. But the US markets did rally quite substantially on Friday, and I think we only caught a little bit of it. So I would expect a little bit more of an upside. And it's possibly better just to come down to the 12. There's a 12-minute fractal there. Okay, this red bar is nonsense data. So there's our triangle. Those are the two fractals that we're looking for. So a break below 49.10. Well, that's actually wrong. We need to see a break below 49.058. Okay, if we can get that, then what you can look for is pretty much gap close, I would assume. Pretty close to gap close. Okay, so that's the first move that I'd look at. And the second one would be a move to the upside. But the upside move is going to be a measured move of this element here. And there will also be an upside target of the range of 275 points. And being a Monday, wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so you can see how both those targets line up. The first one is the gap close to the upside, and the second one is pretty much the previous swing low, which is the first target of the gap. Okay, and that also brings into play sort of this break here is a cup and handle as well. So just get that up. I suppose that measured move is done. Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of the scenario that we have. If we do break to the upside, I'm looking for firstly around 49,550, and then secondly I'm looking for the gap close around 43,700. Okay, those are the moves to the upside. If we do roll to the downside, and I'm not really convinced that that's going to happen, but it is potential. We're looking for the gap close to the downside pretty much if that does happen, because this level here is holding up for support. So 49,058 is holding support. If we do get through that, then I would expect the gap close to the downside. Okay, so those are the two scenarios we're looking at. Let's just look for confirmation on our Ichimoku. Okay, 12 minutes, flat, but that's to be expected being a Friday. So we had a strong rally and then sideways. So nothing really there, just everything's flat, so pretty much range. Half hour range as well. You'll see flat Kijisen, flat Tikisen, flat cloud, although everything is bullish. Hour, we are bullish. We are bullish with a cross. We are bullish with a twist. We are just inside the cloud. So you would expect a bit of a cloud break. If we do get a cloud break and a retest for the week, I think you're going to have a little bit more upside this week. But obviously, we're looking for this break here of 49,300. Okay. On the 4 hour, it is bearish, bearish, and bearish. Okay, and this move was a fairly strong move to the downside, so you could also be looking at some sort of a wedge forming. In other words, up, down, till we get the cloud, and then sort of this gap close up here, and then a big move back down to the downside. So it is possible as well. But I think for now, on the daily, we are bearish, bearish, bearish. We're coming up to the cloud again. So this is fairly telling, and you can see the top side of the cloud is pretty much the gap close and the target to the upside, if we do get to the upside. Okay, and then lastly on the daily, what I would expect to see is we've had a very strong move to the downside, so I would expect an attempt up, then I would expect another drive to the downside, trying to get a second move for this leg. And if that holds up in a double top, that would be confirmation on the daily that we're moving, that we have a potential trend change to the upside. But for now, trend is down, but you need to be a little bit cautious because you don't want to be trading shorts from down here. You want to be trading shorts from higher up. Okay, and there are quite a few areas which would interest me, and this one here, the 50,000 area is definitely something that I would pay attention to. Okay, I just want to have one last look at moving averages. So this is a messy chart, just bear with me for a second. We've got all the moving averages sitting up here. I have the 200, I have the 20, I have the 50, and I have the 100. And you can see we're bouncing off the 100. This is the 50. This is 20 EMA, 20 simple moving average, 50 EMA, 100, 200. So you can see on the hour how we're using the 100 here, and half hour we're using 100 as support at the moment, 200 above us. But the one that I'm interested in is the 4 hour. And if I look at all my oscillators here, this is looking like a bit of a retracement, and you should be looking for a short higher up. Okay, so quick summary. What we're looking for today is probably a break to the upside, and we're looking more than likely to close the upside gap, which is over there. Okay, so we're looking at 49,700 roughly. That's kind of, we're expecting a bit of a green day up to that level. If we don't get a green day and we start breaking below 49,053, then you've definitely got the gap close here. And then what you need to watch for is this trend line break. Because if you get the gap close, that's one thing, it'll bounce. You're also going to bounce off the trend line. If you get a trend line break, which basically equates to breaking below 48,650, I would expect more downside. Okay, and yeah, the trend is down at the moment, so we do have a potential trend change, but at the moment it's down, so we should be looking for shorts. So if it's not going to be in this area, definitely be looking at it off this gap close. And that short may come back just to test the alligator, and we have a confirmation of the trend change to the upside, or alternatively it's going to carry on moving down. Okay, those are my two scenarios for today. Bear in mind it is Monday, so it's probably going to be very slow. And anyway, I hope that helps. Catch up with you later. Cheers for now.